The film begins in a region where a dangerous virus has spread, causing widespread panic among the people, who can no longer find any treatment. As soon as someone shows symptoms, they must be eliminated before the disease spreads to others. Whenever the disease appears in an area, evacuations are carried out, and residents are removed from that place. Most of the people from this city were relocated to camps. The virus was spreading rapidly, especially through small children, leading people to despair and decide to flee. Mary wanted to escape, so she went to the bus station, hoping to board without being seen, because if they caught her, they would stop her. At that moment, she was spotted by Jiffy, one of the homeless, who realized she wanted to escape the country. He told her she couldn't board without identification, but she didn't pay him any mind and told him to leave her alone. Once he went away, she slipped into the bus and tried to board, but a police officer saw her and began to chase after her. Jiffy returned and helped her get on his bike quickly, and they rushed to his place before the police could catch them. At his place, he gave her something to eat and told her that most of the residents had fled, which was why he went into their homes to collect anything that seemed valuable. A little later, his group arrived, and they started yelling at him for bringing her to their home. The girl was shocked and wanted to cry, but he reassured her, introducing her to his friends, Ben, Chris, Smith, and Vicky. However, they weren't trustworthy and feared she would report them. They started searching her bag to make sure. They found that she was also trying to escape because they discovered a map of a tunnel with her. Meanwhile, Vicky heard on the radio that the authorities had identified the area where Mary and Jiffy had entered, and they would search it spot by spot until they found them underground, showing no mercy. The important thing is that they collected their things and quickly escaped from the place. On the way, they kept asking Mary about the tunnel route. She looked at the map and told them it was 25 kilometers to the south. When they reached the first station, they got out to steal the things they needed. Ben and Vicky entered inside while Vicky chatted a bit with the shopkeeper, and Jiffy went to get fuel for the car. Inside, an employee saw Vicky putting something in her bag and wanted to report her to the police, which led to an altercation. As soon as Mary heard the sound of the fight, she grabbed her weapon, got out of the car quickly, and shot the poor woman. Before they could escape, that woman took the weapon and shot Ben in the arm. They quickly ran to the car, not knowing where to go. If they went to the hospital, they would be caught. The problem was that they had run out of fuel, so they couldn't move even with the car. However, Smith spotted a big house from a distance with a farm that looked abandoned. When they tried to open the window, the alarm went off. Suddenly, a door opened, and a woman appeared asking them what they wanted. Vicky asked her for help to treat Ben, and she decided to help them because she was a nurse and saw the injury was serious. Before she could help them, she called the police on them. She treated Ben, and they had to leave quickly since her husband was a cop, and if he came and found them, he would report them. She entered and treated Ben. She assured them that she wouldn't report them. She went out to prepare food for them before they left. When she came out, Mary said to her, "I'll take her car to help us escape." But they were afraid because her husband was a cop. She showed them a family photo where it was clear she wasn't married to a policeman. Ben asked Jiffy to look for the keys, but Clara was sensing something and heard footsteps nearby. She served them a tray of cookies that she had baked and brought them juice to complete the meal. They finished all the food due to their hunger. Later, she introduced them to her husband Hank and her daughter Lauren, who were in the pictures, and told them that her husband kills the people who get infected by the disease, and she lost her daughter because she was infected. Then Smith said to her, "Let's get to the point now. We'll take the car, so look for the keys." Everyone started searching for the keys, but they didn't find them. Suddenly, Vicky pulled out a weapon and threatened Clara, saying that she would kill her. She told her friend that she needed to let Mary go, as she was the reason for the misfortune that was happening to them. Without thinking, she tried to kill Clara, but the others refused to let Mary go since no one knew the way to the tunnel except her. Clara had to pull out the keys, but the surprise was that they started falling one by one to the ground, unconscious. When they woke up in the morning, they found themselves trapped and didn't know where Mary and Smith were, realizing that Clara had put something in their food. Smith woke up and found himself in a terrible state on his own. As for Mary, she woke up and found herself in bed, wearing her pajamas. Clara came in and treated her with kindness and tenderness, saying, "I put on the earrings that belonged to Lauren, her daughter. She treated her almost like her own daughter. Mary began to cry and apologize to her for what they had done to her, saying that they had wronged her. Clara continued to comfort Mary and told her that she had seen the map in her bag. She said that the tunnels had been completely closed for about a week and offered her to stay with her, promising that she would treat her very well. While they were talking, Clara heard a car approaching the house and told Mary not to make a sound. It's not in your favor for the police to know you're here. On the other hand, Smith was in a very strange place, and suddenly water started to flood in on him. Then another door opened, and he began moving in a cautious manner, calling out, "Is anyone here?" But there was no response, just the sight of chains hanging. Suddenly, a loud scream was heard, and what happened to him became unclear. After a little while, Detective Vitz arrived and knocked on Clara's door. He thought he had come to search her, but he started talking to her about the group of young people who had escaped and told her that they were looking for them. He continued explaining that the incident had happened in the area nearby, and that their car had been found parked at the end of the street in front of her house. He asked her if anyone had come to her by mistake or knocked on her door. He decided to search the place to make sure, and when he went up to the garage, he saw a car there which started to bring back memories for him, as his own family had died of illness. Meanwhile, Vicky was thinking about shouting so that Vitz could hear them and rescue them, but Jiffy refused, saying, "If we shout, they'll catch us all since we are the ones causing the problems." Suddenly, Vitz heard a noise coming from the house and decided to search it, but Clara stopped him, looking worried, saying, "Are you starting to suspect me now? I allowed my daughter to die in front of me. Do you suspect me that I would hide troublesome and dangerous children?" The detective felt ashamed of her and began to back away, saying, "I didn't mean to disturb you." Then he left. She went to their room with the necessities and told them to take off their clothes. After that, she gave them new clothes to wear. They asked her about Smith, and she told them, "Don't worry, he will soon join you." Meanwhile, Mary was living her life without knowing anything. She was changing clothes and getting dressed. That night, she went down to have dinner with Clara, fearing that Clara had put something in her food. But in the end, she decided to eat. As soon as Clara woke up to get the pastries, Mary quickly hid the knife before returning. When Clara came back, she asked her about Hank and told her that he was a brave man and a hero who helps with the security of the country. However, in the middle of the conversation, Clara noticed that the knife was missing and told her, "Put the knife back in its place. I have no intention of calling you." Before sleeping, Mary asked her about her friends, and Clara said, "Think about yourself for a moment. They don't care about you and haven't even asked about you." But Mary insisted on knowing where they were, and Clara replied, "They are no longer here." The next morning, they began looking for a plan to escape. Jiffy said they needed to light something to trigger the smoke alarm. Ben asked, "Where are we going to get something to light?" Jiffy started searching for anything that could help them at night. Meanwhile, Mary was trying to escape, but Clara suddenly entered and said to her, "What do you think about going outside for a bit?" Mary, without answering, went with her. During this time, Jiffy discovered a place, and Chris broke a counter, leading them to a secret passage. Ben saw Mary walking with Clara. Suddenly, Clara started shouting and destroying what she had planted because a worm had entered and killed it. At that moment, Mary intended to hit her to escape, but she held back and continued to calm herself. Vicky decided to go down to see where the passage led, and after finding the stairs, she ended up in an office where she found a box of matches, grabbed it, and quickly returned. On the other side, Mary was returning with Clara and managed to see her friends from afar. One of them signaled to her with her hand, asking her to distract Clara a little outside the house. And indeed, she turned her head away, and both she and Clara began picking up the vegetables that had fallen. But Clara realized that she saw her friends. When they returned home, Clara heard the sound of banging, and she went upstairs immediately to check on them, but found each one in their place. Chris told her, "It's clear that you missed your daughter, and that's why you treat Mary as if she were your daughter." At that moment, Clara got angry with her and was about to hit her, but then she held back. When she asked her about Smith and said she wanted to see him, Mary replied, "I was planning to let you see him." She then let her walk with her, but as soon as they entered, she shut the door behind her and said, "Take off your clothes." Then she opened the water on her. We go back to Vicky. who decides to go down to the office, hoping to find something that could help them escape, and she gives Jivy the knife in case something happens and he needs to react. She goes down slowly and finds Clara sleeping, and she reaches out cautiously to take the house keys, and she really opens the door and exits, gathering some wood to start a fire. But unfortunately, Clara sees her and grabs her, taking her to her friends, saying, "If you don't tell me how she got out, I will kill you all." Jivy responds, "I was the one who broke the lock." Clara laughs and replies, "Are you kidding me? The lock isn't even scratched, and I've been an expert in these matters for years. It can't be broken." Then she calls Mary and tells her she needs her and allows her to see her friends. She tells her, "Vicky got out of the room," and she asks her to put the device on Jivy's neck and asks, "How did your sister get out?" When he refuses to answer, she was about to hit him with the light, but Vicky runs and shows her on the wall how she got out. Still, Clara is determined to hit him with the light. Vicky runs to her brother, removes the device from his neck, wears it herself, and tells Mary, "Do what Clara told you to do." But Mary refuses, so Clara grabs the device and presses on it, and Vicky falls to the ground in front of them, starting to scream. Mary begs her to stop and let her live. At night, Mary quietly opens the door and goes out slowly, looking for the sedative, and she finds it and hides it. But she's surprised to see Clara standing and talking to someone, telling him that he needs to hurry and take them. So Mary quickly returns to the room and closes the door securely. In the morning, Clara prepares breakfast for her, and when Mary asks her for a little sugar, Clara gets up to get it for her. At that moment, Mary takes advantage of the opportunity and puts the sedative in the cup. Clara says to her, "I'm sorry about yesterday, and I'll let you return to spend time with your friends." At that point, Mary decides to ask her about Hank, but she is surprised by her answer. As Clara says, "I see him every night in front of the fireplace, and I talk to him." And she promises to protect her and keep her safe, and Mary starts begging her to let her stay with her. However, the effects of the sedative start to show, and Clara begins to feel something and says to her, "You definitely opened the room door and left behind my back." When Clara falls asleep, Mary sees the keys in her pocket, takes them, and runs to open the door. She goes to the garage, drives the car, and parks it in front of the house. Just as she's about to go rescue her friends, Clara begins to wake up. She arrives and opens the door. Clara follows her with a weapon in her hand, but Vitesse comes at that moment and stops in front of the house, wondering how the car came out of the garage. Clara wants to take revenge on Mary, grabs her, and takes her into the cursed room, saying, "I regret trusting you," and she turns on the water. Suddenly, there's a loud knock at the door. Clara stops and goes down to see who it is. When she opens the door, she finds Vitesse standing there, and she asks him, "Did you come to check on me or to search the house again?" He tells her, "The kids who ran away haven't returned. We found their car, and that's all we have on them. They were supposed to return for it, but since they didn't, it seems something happened to them." But she was well prepared, with her weapon ready. When Weitz asks her why she drove the car, she responds, "Those kids you mentioned came here, and when I told them I would report them, they threatened me with a weapon." She tells him that she drove the car all the way to Las Cruces, and she doesn't know anything about them anymore. He says he's going to go check on them, and when he turns to leave, he sees her garden is a mess. At this point, doubts begin to rise, and he looks in the basket, and here comes the shock. He sees Smith's remains thrown there. At that moment, Mary was facing her fate, staring at the body of Karis. Suddenly, a strange man appeared before her. When he saw her, he approached, intent on killing her. However, upon noticing the earrings in her ears, he hesitated. Mary was shocked to realize he was Hank, Clara's man. She understood he was infected, but Clara had kept this secret from everyone, fearing they would kill him, so she decided to hide him at home. Mary tried to escape, while Clara went to kill the others. Jiffy tackled her. Fitz knocked on the door, ready to help. Mary managed to get out, but was covered in blood. As she explained what happened, Hank appeared, trying to kill them, but Fitz shot at him. Then he went to assist Ben, but the crazed Clara shot Fitz. Upon seeing Hank dead, she was shocked and ran to him in tears, but Mary stabbed her. They tried to escape in a car, but Hank got up again and chased them. Vicky ran to get a weapon and started shooting until he died. But sadly, Ben also died from his injuries. The disaster struck as Vicky showed symptoms since Hank had bitten her. Without thinking, she pulled a weapon and shot herself. Mary escaped with Jiffy, but he too was bitten. Determined to save him, the film ends here. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and thanks for watching. See you in a new video.